right, this is an attempt at using Sam Shearer's head as a portal for Aussie and blackfellow humour, but we're targeting the Yanks. Yeah, we're targeting the Yanks. Alright, Yanks, you don't know what we're talking about. We're gonna have to educate. Okay, right. First of all, okay, you've probably heard warfellas, okay, call you Seppos or stereotypes. That's a racial slur. Okay? Now, it's not intended to hate on your race as Americans. It's more to say that your culture is full of shit. Okay, right. Okay, right. So, what's a whinging pom? It's just a pom. Okay, so poms whinge a lot, do they? Oh, yeah. Never good enough for it? No. Ain't good enough for foie gras to go with their candy. Yeah, that is not a pom. A pom eats bangers and mash. Oh right, yeah, hang on. Oh, that's a aristocrat pom, isn't it? Yeah, he eats foie gras and candy, not bangers and mash. Yeah, the regular poms eat bangers and mash, and they drink warm beer. Oh right, the Irish drink the Guinness. Ah right, okay. So, okay, okay. Some things you'll notice, right? Okay, is is the pronoun him is used for objects when you speak some dialects of Koori English, as in East Coast. Okay, not everyone is Koori speaks that dialect, and there's a lot of people who are not Koori who also speak that dialect. Okay, because language is about who you're hanging around and talking with, not the colour of your skin or your grandparents' skin. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so, well, everyone in Australia knows what a Seppo is. Yep, it's full of shit. No offence, Yankees. Okay, and why they call Yankees, because that's what they call themselves over there. Oh, hey, we're being manifold. Well, I'll call you Yanks. Yeah, we're not trying to be racist. No. Okay. But to be honest, is Donald Trump a Seppo? Oh, yeah, Donald Trump is definitely a Seppo. He's full of shit like you would not believe. Right, okay. The dishonesty is inherent in his system. Help. They're being, their OPM nearly got flushed. The violence is inherent in their system. They help the septic tanks nearly flush their cistern. The septic tanks nearly flush their cistern. Then they call it the OPMs. Yeah, because they put doggy crap on it. What? They put doggy. Did you heard about that, Janya? They put doggy crap on their OPM. Yeah. So they had to flush it out. Yeah. The septic tank was full of doggy crap. Yeah. Fuck, mate, that's rude. Okay, did you see how the style of talking was going on there? Okay, the style of talking that was going on there, okay, was actually, believe it or not, white fella English. That was convict English. Yeah, fucking oath, mate. What are you on about? Stick out your ass. Okay, that's convict English. Okay. Okay. Koori English, yeah, is a lot more polite than that. Okay, but with similar grammar and syntax, and objects are referred to as him. Okay? Oh, pick him up. What? You just dropped the phone. Pick him up. Oh. Alright? Okay. Other differences you might notice is cis. Okay? If you look like a female and someone refers to you as cis, okay, there's a slightly higher chance of them being Koori than not. Okay. It doesn't mean that they are, though. Right. Phrase Arnie. What? Arnie, okay, means you're older than him, you, or her, you, and they're being manifold, you. They could also be Indian, yeah. They do that in India. Auntie and uncle, yeah. Okay, right, yeah. Okay, sis and bro, yeah. Auntie and uncle, yeah. Cuz, yeah. They're calling you cuz, yeah. You're in good, okay. They like you, yeah. Um, or they're kissing your ass. One of the other. Yes, probably, yeah. Alright. Um, does what convict English is a lot what they call convict English or bogan, strine bogan convict English, yeah, is ruder. It's the ruder language. Okay? And here's why it's ruder. It's ruder because they're all pissed off. And I kept getting talk like down like they was violent criminals, even though it's dead as prison story most of the time. And so they come up with stick it up your ass. Yeah. They got it cranky, so stick it up your ass. Yeah, there's a lot of polite speech and stuff like that. You won't hear it very often. And very they called them polite people. And some of the polite people were descendants of the convicts as well. Yeah. Sometimes the people that speak bogan or strine, yeah, are not, and they're from the settlers. Yeah. The white fellas, okay? But he's it's a language. Shut up your ass, you cunt! Hey, you dickhead. You wanna come over for a beer? Oh, fuck off, you're annoying. Okay, so that's actually casual speech. Okay? There's the room for rude is quite broad. Okay? It's not like you're going to come to Australia and like everywhere you go, you're going to find people swearing a lot. But if you go to a pub or restaurant as a terrorist, and terrorist is what they call you behind your back, you're not called a tourist, you're called a terrorist. Yeah. No, really, you're called a terrorist as a joke. Okay? A lot of words, that is true, like you probably heard this before, a lot of words are shortened and have O at the end of it, like, or azza. So, shazza, dazza, yeah, wazza, flother, in the arvo, we're going to go to the servo, yeah, and get a Chico roll, yeah, okay, right? So, arvo means afternoon, servo means service station or petrol station. Specifically, the shop area, so not the bowser where the petrol pump is, but the shop area where you pay for it and you get, have $20 packets of chips. $20 packets of chips. Yeah, $20 packets of chips. Yeah, that's how much they cost. $20, okay? Survey prices are mates rates. Okay. Do you know what mates rates are? Okay, that's another Australian expression. We don't actually know which dialect it's from. That's a fairly common one. Mates rates is you probably charge your mate less than you would someone else. Now the word mate, doesn't mean the person that you're having sex with. Okay? Usually they'll say, what are you calling me a faggot for? If you say, yeah, probably. Nobody says, don't call me a fucking faggot. Yeah. They've got nothing against faggots. Okay, but we're not like that, okay? Yeah. Just because we sleep naked together when we're drunk. Yeah. Okay? Fuck it up. Stick it up your ass, mate. Yeah. Okay? Okay. What do Australians say? Stick it up your ass, mate. Okay. When they're actually not necessarily homophobic as much as you might think. Oh, they were back in the day. Yeah. The day was about 15 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. What happened? Yeah, 15 years ago is about right. Why is the phrase "stick it up your ass" so common? Because people would find it uncomfortable to have things stuck up their butt. So it's standoffish behaviour. Yeah. And a lot of strine from the convict English these days is standoffish behaviour. Okay, it's a way to blow someone off. Yeah, it's a way to have a subtle job at someone. Yeah, it's trickster behaviour. Okay, and that sound like what? Okay, just as the strine language, a lot of it has what's called trickster behaviour built into it. Okay, there are other variants of strine, as in descended from convict and settler English, okay, specifically, that are more polite, and so on and so forth. But there is a built-in trickster thing to it. Okay, whereas subtle jibes of, sort of like teasingly poking out someone, is very common, especially if people are friends, and sometimes also if people are not, but they're trying to be friendly. So this is what gets confusing for some people, is that there are situations where very rude language is actually intended as abusive, and there are situations where the rude language is actually friendly. So there is what I think as well is that there is a class issue. Okay, amongst the underclass that have that more older sort of bogan ancestry, so let's say pre-1900 or pre-World War II, from England, that's speaking primarily English speakers, okay, and of white fella type. Amazingly, rude is polite, and polite is rude. So, look, you stick it up your fucking backside, like sticking your fucking crap, okay? That could be rude, yeah, okay? But it depends how it's said and who it's said to. If it's sometimes a formal statement sounds rude. And one reason why it might sound rude is because they're polite speakers, okay? And they speak the proper English. Came from the abuser class or the oppressor. So that intellectualism you find in Australian society, okay, and the upsetness of people who come from the polite people, okay, comes from a history of politeness, and that language of polite, or sound polite, being a means coming with the gubba. Okay, yeah, it came with the gubba historically. It doesn't mean people who are polite are the gubba. It doesn't mean people who are impolite are not the gubba. As you will have noticed, a very rude man, and the American equivalent of it is Donald Trump talks. He found a way to talk like Cletus. Okay? It's not to say all the bogans are Cletuses, because they're not, okay? Actually, you're probably more likely to find an anti-Trump sentiment amongst bogans than anyone else, because what you'll find is that anti-class thread is so endemic to Australian society, it's not even funny, okay? And it's hiding in the background in the way that people talk. So the very nice and polite people who are not governors, they're not governors, they're not governors, they're just people who got an education and learned different way of talking. They, like with different syntax as well. Those people, okay, were trying to get away from the oppression that governors and governors put on them. So their ancestors taught them to do that, okay? You probably find people have a generation in their family in Australia where they got taught to speak properly. After all, the people that hold the jobs are in the North Shore. So if you're going to get a job, you need to be able to sound like you're from the North Shore and not from Western Sydney. If you're from Western Sydney, you won't get a job because the people from the North Shore are the ones that are the employers that have the jobs for you. So therefore, you need to mind your P's and Q's, and just enunciate your words properly, and don't talk like they can smell the gum leaves on you. Yeah, exactly. So they get taught a different way of speaking, like corporate talk, but it's not the same. That's not the same as that. It's not to say they're corporate people or whatever else, or that the bogan Australian speakers or the Guru English speakers can't speak complicated language, because they can. I just more contextually, historically is the correct word. Okay, that formal type of speaking that sounds like you're on the North Shore sounds like you're working with the governor who lives on the North Shore and has a job for you. So basically, people can learn to have more than one accent, okay? You can learn to have more than one accent. In Australia, you could be speaking one fucking language, and you learn to have more than one accent. And it sounds like you're a fake or an actor, but you're not. Okay? You're not. Okay? You have to speak. In Australia, there are different class-based languages. If you're working at the cafeteria, you need to sound like you're from the North Shore in Sydney. After all, the terrorists don't want to be bombarded by words like fucking cunt. Be bad for business. They're accustomed to being in cultures and societies where that's considered improper and crude. Right. Okay. Right. So, a class-based language, okay, are actually distinct cultures, okay, within the same culture, okay, based on history, okay. People learn to be ruder so that they could be distinct from the North Shore. Be honest. Well, that's correct, because the people on the North Shore acknowledged that everyone from Blacktown was the refuse of convict society, and also the blackfellas that got kicked out of Gadigalwanga, and Agora country, and the leftovers of the Darug that were there too. Right. Okay. That's why it was called Blackstown. Right. Okay. So, if you talk about Sydney, where the penal colony happened and stuff like this, is where it's all beginning. Okay? You're beginning with a situation where the convicts didn't want to be part of their fucking shit. And the native peoples, they didn't want to be part of their fucking shit either. It was redcoats versus fucking everyone else. And what's happened is that people have, over the course of time, created these class-based accents and language styles, and regional ones at that, as a consequence of class-based behaviour. After all, if you to acknowledge that you're actually from the ruling class and from the North Shore, that you need to sound like you're more like the English. After all, the English were the ones in charge. Okay, so that's where that sort of come from, don't it? So they sort of put down of accents and styles of talking and syntax and grammar. That's technically a different language. Okay, it really is a different dialect of a language. It's not actually it's not like they're not dumb people. Okay, what they're accustomed to do is, if they're telling someone off, we'll use your full first name, and we'll speak very clearly and eloquently like we are English. Oh fuck, we're in trouble. Oh fuck, we fucked up, eh? Oh fuck. Sorry, man. What happened? See how that works? Okay? Yeah. Okay, so then what they tried to do is they then tried to replace the Pom's accent with the Yanks fucking accent, right? And then people started going, hang on. You're both full of shit, yeah. The Yanks appear to be septic tanks, yeah. The Poms whinge too much, yeah. Okay? So people wanted to have that flexibility of language where they could speak multiple languages and dialects simultaneously, including having large verbosity of language. Okay? But mostly, like practical life, you don't really need all that stuff. So there's a lot of people out there, okay, who talk with an accent like this, who have a very big library of words, a massive library of words, more than the English dictionary. They might even have it in several different languages and you wouldn't know. But because if you talk like this, it don't sound like you're smart, they think you're dumb. So they're going to be classist and racist on you, okay, without even being meaning to. And the backwoods racism and classism is that if someone talks like this, everyone assumes that they're a Pom from the fucking North Shore and they just want to fucking enslave you. So that's basically how it is, okay? Okay, you might think that words like cobber and Tommy Kangaroo and Down Sport are how people talk in Australia, but it's fucking not. How people talk in Australia is a direct consequence of racism, sexism, class-based discrimination, and a long history of people coming from other countries where they got fucked over as well, and no one's ever liked the redcoats or even the blue coats. We don't give a fuck about either of you. Fuck the Poms and fuck the fucking Yanks. Stick it up your asses. Have a nice day. And by the way, Seppos, we don't actually hate you as individuals, just like with the fucking Poms. You know how it fucking is.